erected the tent, men drove up and rode up and said, before we can do anything, we have to come talk with them to, you know, work out a payment arrangement.
Yeah.
Even though it was a church.
Wow.
And just a little bit of talking with them, they just drew back and said, leave it like that. Church, God business. These are rough men from some of the inner city.
I would visit Faith Chapel because it just felt like that kind of an assembly of the saints where you're hearing the glorious sound, you're with the other holy saints, and you're having a good time in the Lord. And afterwards, you can buy a pot outside to cook the dinner later.
Bishop seems to be running traditional type of ministry in an unconventional space. That doesn't matter though, because the walls aren't confining him. The outreach ministry is still very vibrant, and that's an avenue of having people find a way to come in, find a home. Structured, steadfast, stationary. It's a vibe. People need that. A lot of people need that.
Get Sagicor School Companion Health Plan for as little as $2,540 per month. The time by Sagicor Life is
7 o'clock.
At Jamaica Pegasus, your 2 front seat for Christmas comedy cook-off.
Thursday, December 26th at the Grand Ballroom of the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. Gates open 6 p.m. Showtime 7:30 sharp. Call 876-542-4160 for ticket info. Christmas comedy cook-up, serving up laughter.
At Jamaica Pegasus, your 2 front seat for Christmas comedy cook-off.
Our days get a little complex sometimes. Often so many things make sense, yet so many do not. We are being intentional about giving prominence to the big stories in order to clarify and enlighten. Lead Story explains who, what, when, where, why, and how. Lead Story with George Davis, weekdays at 6:30 p.m. on CVM TV.
Thank you, and I don't have to pay for this.
Sleigh bells ringing, diamonds bling.
Yes, it's Santa.
In the house.
Favorite season.
Let them sit under your arm as well.
They said say Nick, but you got a bit in that bag, yeah.
From now on.
Let's go right into our first headline.
They said say Nick, but you got a bit in that bag, yeah. With the lights out, 'tis the season.
going to a break.
Coming up in CVM News at 7. Shakedown, a wanted man arrested and guns seized in Westmoreland. In St. James, escapee recaptured. Another is dead. 3 others are on the run. Expert predicts major murder declines for 2025. In Inspire Jamaica, the value of positive lyrics and artists on children struggling through health issues. And in sports, Chapelton Maroons upset Cavalier in 3-1 Jamaica Premier League win.
From Kingston, Jamaica, this is CVM News at 7, the weekend edition for Sunday, December 15, 2024. Thanks so much for joining us. I am Curlin Brown. At least 1 of 5 escapees from the Barnett Street police lockup in St. James has been recaptured, while another has reportedly died. Shantae McNeil shares how you can help in returning 3 others still on the run.
The St. James police have reported that 1 of 5 men who escaped from the Barnett Street lockup in Montego Bay on Saturday has been recaptured. The escapee, 36-year-old Fidel Ferguson of Mountain View, Greenwood, was found with a gunshot wound in Paisley District early Sunday morning after alerting residents he had been shot by unknown attackers. Police took him to the hospital, where he remains under guard. Meanwhile, 42-year-old Edgar Spence of Flower Hill, another escapee, was fatally shot during a confrontation with the police on Saturday morning. In their latest update, law enforcement say 3 others, Tyrese Brown, 22 of Albert Town, Trelawney, charged with murder and rape, Daniel McIntosh, 23 of Peddlers Lane, St. James, who was charged with illegal possession of a firearm, and 43-year-old Maurice Belnavis of Norwood, St. James, has been charged with simple larceny, remain at large. Police are urging them to surrender immediately. CVM News sources say the men reportedly broke free from cell number 6 sometime between 5 and 6 a.m. It's further understood that the cell was occupied by 6 men, but when the escape was effected, only 1 inmate remained. Synchronicities aside, the police are again reminding the public that it is a criminal offense to harbor fugitives. Anyone with information that can assist in locating these individuals is asked to contact the Montego Bay Criminal Investigations Branch at 876-953-6191. Crime Stop at 311, the Jamaica Constabulary Forces tip line at 811 are the nearest police station. Shantae McNeil, CVM News.
A curfew has been imposed over sections of Enfield and Otter Bay, St. Mary as of 6 p.m. on Saturday, December 14 to 6 p.m. on December 16. The police say this measure was deemed necessary to address escalating gang violence in the area, which resulted in multiple robberies, shootings and murders. The curfew boundaries are north along Dry River Bridge towards Top Enfield, east from the Enfield Main Road extending northeast towards the NWC Pump House at Fort Stewart, south along an imaginary line running south from Top Enfield to May River, and west along May River to a section of Fort Stewart. During the curfew, the police say operations will be conducted with the utmost respect for human rights. Community members are being urged to cooperate fully with the law enforcement teams led by Deputy Superintendent of Police Kevin Francis, report any suspicious activities and stay informed about developments taking place. The Westmoreland police are intensifying their crackdown on crime targeting illegal firearms and wanted criminals. Their latest operations have yielded significant results, bolstering public safety efforts ahead of the holiday season. Shantae McNeil tells us more.
The Westmoreland police have made significant strides in their fight against guns and gangs, seizing 2 illegal firearms and arresting a wanted murder suspect in separate incidents within 24 hours in the parish. In Little London, officers discovered a 9mm pistol and ammunition during a search operation on Sunday afternoon. Hours later, 42-year-old Dwight Cheeky Williams was arrested in Petersville after police seized another firearm from a bag he was holding. DSP for the Westmoreland Police Division, Sean J. Mitchell, says the suspect arrested was connected to a White House murder.
Dwight Williams, otherwise called Cheeky, and he is wanted in connection to the murder of Romario Singh O.C. Baggio, which happened earlier this week. What we know so far is that both persons were at the same location when there was an altercation, and the suspect, who was subsequently wanted in connection to the murder, that's Mr. Williams, pulled a firearm and shot Mr. Singh several times before leaving the space.
DSP Mitchell says this development is a reflection of the support the force has been receiving from the residents in the parish as they continue its fight against crime.
Now, the seizures over the past 24 hours is a significant move as it translates into the operational uptick that we have been embarking on throughout the Christmas period. There is enhanced operations, more strategic deployments across the parish, and most importantly, our citizens have been cooperating with us, and they have been partnering with the police in order for us to have a safer Christmas period and, of course, a safer community overall.
In a media release on Sunday, head of the Westmoreland Police, Superintendent Othniel Dobson, reassured the public of increased security measures during the holiday season as the police continue their mission to rid the streets of illegal weapons and crime. The police are urging citizens to report any suspicious activity to help create a safer Westmoreland. Shante McNeil, CVM News.
Now, despite crime being a frequent highlight in the local news, one expert is hazarding a guess come 2025, Jamaica's murder figure could go under 1,000. The crime fighter is also hopeful murders for 2024 could hover close to the 1,100 mark. Here's more from Nika Lewis.
Jamaica's crime situation has not often been a mystery. But one thing is sure is that no one force is at play in its increase or reduction. This criminologist and crime fighter, Dr. Jason Mackay, is acutely aware of how these many variables can affect the murder rate year after year. Yet, for 2024, he is inclined to believe with only a few more weeks to go, murders will be just around 1,100.
Well, I wished it would be sub 1,100. It may be a little bit optimistic to assume that we're in the first 10 days of December and we won't get 10 murders for the rest of the month. So it'll be a little bit over 1,100, you know, which is incredible. Come looking from where we're coming from. Never forget, in 2009 we were at 1,647. How much countries in the world have dropped their murder rate by that degree? I mean, you're looking at 500 difference in your murder, 500, an average of about 500 less people being murdered this year than were murdered in 2009 when it was at its peak, or even in 2017 when it was at 1,647. So
that's a 45% drop peak to peak. However, for 2025, Dr. Mackay is forecasting, should all variables remain relatively controlled, there will be further declines in murder to sub 1,000.
Really improved, and I think that I would really see where it's very possible if certain things don't happen. The mass deportation, if it doesn't happen and we get all of those criminals coming back, then we could go sub 1,025. If it does happen that they're coming back and Parliament does what it needs to do and passes the legislation that allows us to keep them for 3 months so we can actually charge them, then I could say we'll go under the 1,000. Even if that happens, we'll go under the 1,000. If the mass deportations don't happen, then I'd say we'd comfortably go under the 1,000.
The expert notes the days of elections fueling violence are long behind Jamaica. That's with the knowing 2025 is likely an election year.
I don't think this election will be violent. I don't think the politicians themselves will tolerate it. The press won't tolerate it. So it really comes down to how motivated the force is. And I can tell you, in my history of being a member of the JCF and prior to that being very involved in the JCF, my involvement with the JCF goes back from the 80s. This is the most motivated I've ever seen the police force. And this is also the largest I've ever seen the police force. So if this type of motivation can be kept, then, you know, we're looking at going sub 1,000.
As at December 7, 2024, some 1,085 people were murdered in Jamaica since the start of the year. A major decline, however, of 17.7% when compared to the same period in 2023. Nika Lewis, CVM News.
Some other news now. Clarendon's capital town is undergoing big changes as new vending spaces and transport areas will be established for the Christmas season and the New Year. Speaking at a municipal council meeting recently, Mayor Joel Williams says fruitful conversations with the police and commercial stakeholders make preparations for the season possible. Courtney Lewis tells us more.
Maypen is to see more changes in the coming year as the town gears up for an urban boom. Residents and vendors will find new opportunities as the town welcomes new vending spaces and transport centers.
Coming on stream, two main taxi location, taxi park. And I'm hoping we have the one way to come on stream, God's willing, next year.
Mayor Joel Williams says the developments signify a greater mandate of the municipal corporation, with talks of more social spaces like a drive-in theater in the town. And as the area prepares for the holiday season, the mayor is welcoming key initiatives to reduce electricity shortage and improve environmental conditions.
A lot of the wires are overgrown with bushes, and I've asked them to make sure as early as possible we have all of those wires debushed. We will be doing a thorough cleaning up of some section of the township and washing down a section of the town because I want to make sure that when the shoppers comes out, they must feel comfortable.
He's hoping vendors and shoppers will cooperate and further commends the police for what he deems tolerable crime reduction in the township.
I believe that the police policing is being moved to a different level. And if that kind of policing is left to grow, I believe that Jamaica, Maypen, Clarendon will be on top of the game in terms of being ahead of the criminals.
Courtney Lewis for CVM News.
And we'll continue with more from the news desk in just a moment.
All you want for Christmas is your two-front seat, your two-front seat, your two-front seat. At Jamaica Pegasus, your two-front seat for Christmas comedy cook-off.
Thursday, December 26th at the Grand Ballroom of the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. Gates open 6 p.m. Showtime 7:30 sharp. Call 876-542-4160 for ticket info. Christmas comedy cook-up, serving up laughter.
At Jamaica Pegasus, your two-front seat for Christmas comedy cook-up.
What's your story? What's your sign? You're dreamers. Don't care what other people say. We're doing this in our way. We come alive. We come alive. We come alive. We're doing this in our way. We come alive.
I'm mighty.
This is mine?
I want to do the big ladder road.
Where's the sleigh?
Good morning. You've never seen a sunrise quite like this.
Tamaiti Christmas in the Streets is brought to you by Flow, unwrapping holiday
Welcome back. The JPS Foundation is lighting the path for hundreds of students pursuing a career in industrial technology. With a long-standing commitment to education, the foundation continues to spark changes through impactful scholarship initiatives. To tell us more, here's Shantae McNeil.
Since 2016, the JPS Foundation has been powering the futures of students pursuing CSEC and Cape Industrial Technology examinations with a special focus on electrical technology through scholarship opportunities. To date, over 3,000 students have benefited from scholarships worth more than $13 million. This year is no exception, as the foundation is set to provide 200 scholarships to aspiring engineers and technicians for both their academic dreams and Jamaica's future development.
For this year, we are supporting over 200 students valued at over $1 million. And these students who are participating, they're also a part of our Power Up Energy Club, that is the JPS Foundation Power Up Energy Club. And within these clubs, they are given different projects that they have to do. They also have the opportunity to participate in our Innovation Challenge, where they have to come up with solutions to solve various climate problems.
Exams Operations Manager at the Overseas Examinations Commission, Tanjay Holmes, highlighted the exceptional performance of students who have taken these exams, noting their consistent success.
Most of the schools that were a part of the program last year, they would have been a part of the program maintaining your average of 70% pass rate and 60% sit rate. So the schools are doing well. There's a general uptake in electrical technology, industrial technology. In fact, in 2024, you have 2 of your recipient schools on the regional merit list.
One recipient, Javon Bennett, an aspiring engineer, shared how the support will be beneficial to his career path.
Growing up, I always wonder how electricians on the pole do their work, and I always wanted to be like them. So when I got opportunity to do electrical as a subject, I jumped at the chance. I think it's really great, not only for me, but also for my cohorts who are benefiting from it, as it will not only lessen the load of our parents, but also help to support us in our future endeavors.
The JPS Foundation remains steadfast in its mission to empower students, securing brighter futures for both individuals and Jamaica as a whole. Shante McNeil, CVM News.
The Police High Command has expressed condolences following the sudden death of Sergeant Steve Roy Campbell, who passed away from natural causes on Saturday, December 14. Sergeant Campbell, assigned to the Port Antonio Traffic Department, fell ill around 2 p.m. and was pronounced dead at hospital. The JCF's chaplaincy and the welfare departments are providing support to his family, his friends and colleagues during this difficult time. And we go now to regional and international news.
We begin with news in the region. In Grenada, political heat is rising in the opposition New National Party NNP, headed by former Prime Minister Keith Mitchell. In a statement Saturday, opposition MP Peter David, who is aspiring to leadership, gave a strong indication of his willingness to pursue power as he backed out of the party's convention on its eve. Here's WPG 10 TV.
Without any selfish, naked political consideration or ambition, I must forego whatever personal wishes I have and stand for a broader principle, that of fairness, respect, and unity. They have shared who their nominee is. They have built a barricade for the way forward. Their divisive machinations have left me with little option but to withdraw myself from tomorrow's proceedings as a delegate or even an observer. Let it be known, we shall deepen our advocacy. We shall continue to be open to the voice of the people. We shall work harder and we shall continue to organize. And above all, we shall continue to serve the interests of our constituents all across this tri-island state.
And in Haiti, the UN Agency for the Protection of Children reports a significant increase in the recruitment of children by gangs. UNICEF estimates that children now make up 30 to 50% of the country's gang members. More from Al Jazeera.
They're members of the Vivan Sam gang coalition in Port-au-Prince. They're fighting to extend their control over Haiti's capital. But many of them are just children. Pakamori, not his real name, is 14. He has been in a gang since he was 12. His father was killed 2 years ago. His mother is too ill to take care of him.
The police killed my friends, my father, my uncles, so I'm fighting for revenge. I shouldn't be in a gang, but this is all we have in Haiti. We're hoping to control the airport again and then control the whole country.
UNICEF says child recruitment has increased 70% in the past year as violence has swamped this Caribbean nation.
In international news, Australia says the 5 remaining members of the Bali 9 drug ring have returned home after almost 20 years in Indonesian prison. Details from the BBC.
The 5 remaining members of the so-called Bali 9 drug ring have been freed and flown back to Australia after almost 20 years in an Indonesian prison. The 5 Australians were jailed for their roles in a heroin smuggling plot in Bali in 2005. After years of advocacy from the Australian government, the group were flown back to Australia earlier today. The case made news worldwide when the gang's 2 ringleaders were executed by firing squad in 2015. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese thanked President Prabowo.
I'm pleased to confirm that Australian citizens Matthew Norman, Scott Rush, Martin Stevens, C.E. Chen and Michael Shugai have returned to Australia this afternoon. I want to express my gratitude to President Prabowo for Indonesia's cooperation and commitment to working with Australia on this matter. I have conveyed my personal appreciation to President Prabowo for his act of compassion.
That's it for regional and international news. I'm Nika Lewis.
Switching now to Inspire Jamaica, let's listen in on a conversation about the influence of music on a youngster who has since birth battled a series of health conditions, including Down syndrome, leukemia, congenital heart defect, and delayed speech. He is now 13 years old.
Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. If you can. And this is my year. Oh, 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 oh.
That one.
Hello, Jamaica.
Season's greetings. This is Christoph Marshall, one of our inspirees. And he, like so many of the other inspirees, have often been looked on to be the inspirations for a great many persons, due to the fact that they have faced various odds and have survived and are still surviving. But today we're going to flip the script and we are going to focus on persons who have helped them to survive. And Christoph's favorite person, one of his favorite person, is recording gospel artist
Kevin Downswell.
Kevin Downswell. Christoph, where did you meet Kevin?
Mandeville.
Mandeville.
What did you feel when you meet Kevin?
I'm crying, and I meet him Mandeville and woke him up. I'm so happy for him.
Yes.
Special to me.
Special to him. It was an emotional moment to see the persons. He has always heard his songs over the radio for many years, and to actually see him, it was an amazing moment, an emotional moment. You know, his songs have always been integral in his development, right?
And I've always talked about Kevin's songs being important and integral in his development. Physically, yes. Spiritually, it has allowed him to grow and develop and be confident. And it has also impacted his love for music. Songs like You Make Me Stronger. Yes. Which other one?
My year.
My year. And
this is my year. Oh, 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 oh.
That one.
Got a feeling this is gonna be my year.
I truly believe that he understands that it will be his year, but he takes it from a narrow perspective, that every day can be my day once I'm truly committed to it. Music can be seen as a switch in Christoph's body. Once it turns on, there's no lack, there's no difference, there's no comparison, there's no turning off. It's just Christoph. Always have been, always will be.
So today I take this opportunity to implore corporate Jamaica, whatever you do, whatever you are going to put out there to the public, please ensure that it impacts positively. Be cognizant of the fact that you are impacting and affecting lives. You're affecting people. People are going to live because of your songs. People are your dance, whatever you do. People are going to make life-changing choices. People will survive because of what you put out there. People will thrive. People will develop. Particularly our inspirees. They listen to you and they take your word or whatever you do. They live by it. So I beg of you. I really beg of you.
Be positive in all that you do. And let's continue to inspire Jamaica. Inspire Jamaica. See you, dear.
Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place if you can.
Sports is next with Ronaldo Adams.